Hi and welcome to the Homeopathy Health Show. I'm Atiq Ahmed Bhatti, a fourth generation homeopath with over 25 years of professional experience and practice in this field of healing. The Homeopathy Health Show is the online voice of homeopathy around the world, promoting and raising awareness of this truly unique system of healing, which is suitable for all ages, young and old. Every week I invite guests from the world of homeopathy to come and share their experiences, their work, offer insights, and essentially talk all things homeopathy. Why not visit www.liketreatslike.co.uk and click on the radio and podcast button to listen to the latest episodes. So let's begin today's show here on UK Health Radio, the world's #1 talk health radio. Hi and welcome to another episode of the Homeopathy Health Show here on the UK Health Radio Network. And as always, I hope you're well. Now, one of the best parts of this show is the opportunity that I have to engage with homeopaths from around the world. And really, it's a way of giving back to everybody within the field of homeopathy and this service to humanity, and giving them really a voice on the show. So with that, I'm so happy indeed that my guest on today's show, Juliana Keiko Hayashi, joins me all the way from Brazil. Now, Juliana completed her initial training in homeopathy in Brazil. at the faculty Inspirar, and later pursued further training in classical homeopathy with Professor George Vithoulkas in the International Academy of Classical Homeopathy in Greece. And she has been practicing homeopathy in Brazil since 2016. Juliana, welcome to the Homeopathy Health Show.
Thank you for this opportunity, Atik.
It's so nice to have you. Nice to have you on the show.
To share my background, my story with homeopathy. It inspired me a lot.
Wonderful.
Since then.
And I must say to the listeners, you must go to my Instagram, which is like_treatslike. That's my username, the handle. And you can even actually go to YouTube, again, like_treatslike. And there you will see some of the video promos with Juliana. And the one thing you will notice, certainly Juliana actually noticed this before me, we are wearing pretty much the identical shade of green. Now, hey, that's a coincidence, right? Or not? That shows you that we are resonating.
Yes. Exactly. We are in the same frequency, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, it's a good sign. We're going to have a wonderful show. And as always, I would thank you initially for coming on. It's so good to have you on, and there's so much to talk about. So I wanted to really ask you your backstory and how you got interested in homeopathy. And interestingly enough, we can tell from your name as well, which is such a lovely name, Juliana Keiko Hayashi, that there is the history is very much Japanese as well. So do share.
Okay. Yeah. So I was born in Brazil, and my mother also was born in Brazil, but my grandparents were Japanese. But they were Japanese, and they were immigrants here in Brazil. So we have here in Brazil there were a lot of immigrants from many parts of the world. So Japanese culture contributed to form Brazil here, and many other cultures from Europe, and that's it. A part of my life is influenced by Japan, by the Japanese culture. About homeopathy, I didn't treat it by homeopathy before, when I was a child or when I was young. I knew homeopathy because of my daughter. So my daughter has dermatitis. since she was about 2 years old. And we treated with allopathic remedies many times, repeated times, and it didn't work well, as you know, the common story, yeah,
Mm.
treating skin problems. So I was tired with this kind of treatment, and I heard about a homeopath here in my city, where I live, my town, the countryside of São Paulo, and okay, we started this treatment, and the homeopath, she started explain about homeopathy, and I found very interesting.
Mm.
And the theory, the miasms, and she inspired me to start studying homeopathy here. And okay, I don't know why, it was like a intuition or something like that, because I was not interested before in this kind of medicine, alternative medicine, no. But I started treatment at this homeopath started treat also myself.
Mm.
Not for skin problems as my daughter, but I was a bit uh, depressive at the moment, at that moment, low energy. My problems were in the emotional part. So I could see the results since then. I started to feel much better, and I started studying homeopathy. And at that time, it was like how can I say, very complex in the beginning, but I was interested in that system, you know. And my daughter was getting better. We had some results with homeopathy, but I started treating her, experimenting what I was studying.
Mm.
So we even as a beginner in homeopathy, I could see some results. Okay, and it was after that, after this course in Brazil, I thought it was not a completed course in Brazil here, because they mixed remedies, homeopathic remedies, you know. And I found George Vithoulkas, my Professor George Vithoulkas, and on YouTube, he was explaining about some materia medica, and it was very enlightening,
Mm.
because he explained in a very clear way to me. So I found that he was starting a learning course here in Brazil in that year. So it was a coincidence, not a coincidence. For me, it was like, oh, it's wonderful. It was wonderful, this opportunity. So I started to study homeopathy with him, and I thought it was uh, not only a homeopathy course, because it was like I was learning a new, different way of living. Gave me basis, not about health in a wider way, about the concepts of healthy, connected with the body, the soul, the spirit, understanding how can it works. Um, I could he read and read Hahnemann and understand what were his purpose with homeopathy.
Mm. It is interesting, isn't it, that homeopathy is very much, certainly for homeopaths, it becomes a way of life. It does shape the way that you think and that you observe and that you um, look at subject areas and you look at life. It's fascinating, isn't it? Because it does change, and for the better, I must add here, of course. So yeah, it's what you're saying makes perfect sense. Do carry on.
Yeah, as you said, we can connect more with nature because homeopathy observes the laws of nature. So, we feel like more connected with it. I felt like that. So, before treating people, I could treat myself and my daughter. So it was like I knew homeopathy, and I'm very thank, thankful for homeopathy because of that. Because changing my life, my life, sorry, my lifestyle, my way of living. Yes, so it's something that I try to talk with the patients. You know, it's a more respectful therapeutics. So we need to understand the person, the individual, and many influences, many factors around the person. I think this is so important, and you need to how can I say? Um, I think the medicine nowadays is ignoring that, and so we need to bring back that, you know.
That's very beautifully said, actually. It's very true, in the sense that with homeopathy, we're looking at the individual and what shapes them and their strengths and their weaknesses and life stories and what can lead to certain ailments and conditions. And that's so important nowadays, more now than ever before, actually.
Yes. I was studying about Hippocrates. in-
Hippocrates.
Yeah, okay. In Hippocrates,
Yes.
in Portuguese is Hippocrates is the
Oh,
same.
okay.
So
Okay.
Hippocrates, and I thought Hahnemann brought the same principles, not the same, but the important principles from Hippocrates, like that. Uh, Understand the environment and try to understand how people is influenced by the environment, and how the environment can help or harm the individual.
Hmm.
So this is a important thing that we lost in some part of the hum, humanity, the history of the humanity in medicine, I think. So, and Hahnemann uh, developed this technology with the substance, with the remedies that's so brilliant that I'm amazed every time I think about that.
Wonderful. It's what you've said it very eloquently, I must say, because many don't realize that. Again, I go back to what you said is homeopathy certainly becomes a way of life, and you ponder over these things, and you said something very profound, which is that we may have lost this ability to be at one with nature, simply put, and that's so important nowadays. And I think it's so important to recognize, because when you recognize your surroundings, it just makes you better at being able to then protect your surroundings. And that could be anything. That could be from the four walls of your house where your family is. That could be your circle of friends. It could be your workplace. It could be, certainly as homeopaths, it could be our patients, or should I say, it is our patients. But then it goes much, much further than that, doesn't it? Because it goes to nature and creation and our surroundings outside and everything else. And how wonderful that is, isn't it, as far as homeopathy is concerned, that it does help as far as we are concerned as homeopaths to help us to mature, to be able to recognize.
Homeopathy or everything that bring us this ability, this capacity to connect with the nature is good. I
Hmm.
believe, and not. I studied other subjects that helps me also in homeopathy to understand better, the human being, the connections with the nature, with the cosmos, the universe. So I think this is something that as therapist I try to to tell to the patients, because it's about educating ourselves, not only to give a remedy or to take a remedy. We need to be more responsible about our health.
Hmm. Absolutely, we do. It's not. Yeah, I mean, it's not health. In fact, it's not free. It's we need to do so much to be able to maintain ourselves.
Yes, to understand ourselves, to observe ourselves.
Hmm.
I think it's something when someone really wants to be treated by homeopathy needs to learn, to observe themselves, and we get more observers. We
Yeah,
need to observe more what happens inside and outside. What maybe what caused this discomfort, this pain, or this disease in me?
hmm.
I think this is very insightful, not to be in a automatic, in an automatic way. No, we need to observe, to think, to learn with our bodies, with our um, organism. What's the symptoms are that the importance of the symptoms is, are signs trying to tell us what are happening.
Absolutely. Now, Juliana, I wanted to ask you what it was like studying with the professor, because when you studied, did you move to Greece, or was this online? How did that work?
It was a, a learning course, so a 2-year course that had. We watch videos from Professor Vithoulkas,
Hmm.
the theory, materia medica, repertorization, cases, many cases. And I went to Greece to watch the seminars, to join the seminars for 1 or 2 weeks there in
Hmm.
Greece. It was very important to me because I could meet him, and he he was very important person. Like he initiated me on homeopathy. I feel that, so he's um, I honor his teachings, and because um, he follows the Hahnemann's teaching. And I think this is important because if there is some confusion about some some homeopathy there around the world. I don't I follow the classical homeopathy because for me it makes sense. I feel that is uh respecting these principles. I can understand as principles, natural principles. So
Hmm.
was that. And there in Greece, I could meet other homeopaths around the world. It was very important, to see many people interested in homeopathy because
It's
here,
a nice environment, isn't it? It always is.
yes, because here in Brazil, I think homeopathy is not so strong. Mm, Not so strong. It's developing. The homeopathy is developing here in Brazil. So we need to be um, resilient here in Brazil as homeopaths.
Which actually takes me on to what I wanted to ask you specifically about Brazil. What's it like? I mean, homeopathy, how is it growing still? And are there certain areas where homeopathy is more popular, or is it just generally people are getting to know about it slowly and surely?
um, homeopathy, well, I think homeopathy survives here. I think the right word,
Hmm.
is uh, growing or maintaining certain level here, but not really growing, because many people don't know homeopathy, still don't know homeopathy. So I think our work here as homeopaths here, we need to educate people about homeopathy. Not only here in Brazil, I think around the world, but
Hmm.
in some countries we know that homeopathy is stronger. There are more opportunities, uh, more people looking for homeopathy. And here, I think you need to work upon this, to promote more homeopathy, especially especially uh, classical homeopathy. Here, the most common is the mixture of remedies
Hmm.
in
Okay.
homeopathy. Okay,
And are they available in pharmacies, or do you have to go and see a homeopath?
we need to ask in pharmacy, and they make the remedy.
Okay.
It's not ready. It's not you know
On the shelf
not
as
a co
such.
yes.
Yeah.
hmm
Okay.
There's some in my town here. We have a few pharmacies, but there are towns bigger than here that there's no homeopathy pharmacy.
Hmm.
We have this problem. It's not everywhere is available. Right, homeopathy remedies are available.
So where you are, you're in, did you say San Paulo?
Yes, near São Paulo, the capital.
So,
São Paulo.
are you one of the only homeopaths there, or do you have a community there, of a few?
No, here in my city, the countryside, in the Atuba countryside of São Paulo state, we have more homeopaths. And in this region, here, São Paulo is the biggest city here in Brazil. So around São Paulo, there are a lot of homeopaths, but Brazil is very big
Hmm.
And there are many regions that I don't know, of course, of Brazil because it's very big. But here is the uh, region that we have more homeopaths, more resources
Hmm.
related to homeopathy. In other regions, it's more difficult to find homeopath or the remedies.
So how do you go about getting your services out there? So how do people find out about you, and what's that process? Is that quite challenging?
Internet is the way now that we promote our work, and the people here in my town, here in this town, find me through internet. It's the way and indication. So that's the way now. So I think I want to talk more about homeopathy, not because people don't know about ben- the benefits of homeopathy,
Hmm.
how it works, uh, what homeopathy can treat. There are many myths, like homeopathy takes too long to act, this kind of thing. So I think it's it's something that I want to do. I want to talk more about homeopathy because people can understand a little bit and how can be useful for life. So because I'm was so no I have been treating my daughter since since 8 years 9 years, so I see that's possible treat children very well.
Hmm.
I can
It yeah.
see I can see the results myself and my daughter. So
And do you have any organizations, homeopathic organizations there?
yes, there are some, but are not strong, are not very organized in reality.
Hmm.
Maybe, sorry.
You need to establish one, a
Yes,
community. You can call it the San Paulo community of homeopaths.
yes. I work as a therapist,
Hmm.
homeopath therapist. So, doctors has more has this organ. They were more organized. The homeopath doctors here. There are some, so, but they are not all. Not all the doctors, the homeopaths, are classical homeopaths.
Hmm.
There are some courses that I see in São Paulo, that's the biggest city, that are this mixture of remedies. They teach in a different way from the way I learned from Vithoulkas. So it's the most common even in doctors,
Hmm.
homeopath doctors here.
There are so many different styles, methodologies within homeopathy itself. Um, yeah, it is interesting how different approaches are utilized around the world. So I was going to ask you actually about your style. So you're of course you're based as a classical homeopath, aren't you?
Yes.
And
Mhm.
so how do you go about explaining to people that, I mean, the people that you're seeing, the patients, should I say, are they referrals? Because somebody would get better and then they refer somebody else. That's how majority. I mean, certainly in the West, I certainly work that way. I mean, I hardly have ever advertised my clinic. It's always word of mouth, and then people talk to one another. And I think it is one of the, not the, but one of the many benefits, because if somebody is better, then it's like a testimonial, isn't it? It's just like going to Amazon and having a look at the reviews and seeing, which product has over 4.5, 4.5 stars and 4.8, and that's the one you go for. So I personally think that's really, really good because it's also testament to the practitioner itself. So, but there are various avenues as well. How does it work over there in Brazil?
Yeah, I agree. I think the best way to promote homeopathy is through the results because we have very good results. Yeah, and these testimonials, I I asked some patients like, I can you write what you said to me? Because sometimes they only tell me, oh, it happened like that, and thank you, was good. Can you write what you had with homeopathy? So this is good, but I think people are. I see people want they want in, in results fast, not fast, immediate results. And I think homeopathy can give fast results, but we need sometimes we have to through some process, and we need to understand this process in a different way. For example, it's not like taking a painkiller and the symptoms disappear. And so we need to understand that it happens in another way. It works in a different way. So try to understand the process.
I think,
For example,
it's interesting you're saying that because as you were saying that, I was just thinking that this is something we're always going to face. Absolutely. It doesn't matter what holistic therapy we're in, from homeopaths to, Ayurvedic practitioners, herbalists, Chinese medicine practitioners, irrespective, because we're used to a certain, to the conventional system of medicine, and it does provide quick fixes, or certainly it provides palliation or relief immediately, and people don't think further about, their health. They're just saying, great, I had a headache, I took a painkiller, I can carry on. And that's something we're always going to face. But I think it's quite interesting as well, because it gives us the opportunity. I mean, look, when you're faced with challenges like this, you have to think of a way out. And this is a positive as far as homeopathy is concerned, because then you can then educate an individual about knowing about their body. And yes, they may not totally convert to homeopathy, and sometimes it's not possible anyway, to be realistic, but at least they're aware. And if they're aware of their body, then they know, yes, okay, maybe on the odd day, going to work, got a headache, they'll take a painkiller and it's gone. But where things persist, they know that, oh, hang on, I need to recognize my body. I need to understand there's something wrong. So let me have a look at this and let me take time out. So it's a win-win situation, to be honest. I think it works really well, doesn't it?
try to reduce the remedies to palliate. Like I usually tell to the patients, oh, if you have just a symptom, try only to observe the symptom and try to understand them, the situation, maybe something that you only need to rest, to relax, to stop doing something because it's like a sign that your body is asking something. No, don't take a medicine because of that immediately. I think people are very
Hmm.
immediatist, and I think uh, it's because of our times now that we need to produce a lot to do many things, and this is against health. We need to understand that this is against health. The I don't think any the conventional medicine or any medicine uh, should help that, you know. We need to understand that what is against health, what harm our bodies, our health in general, and we need to choose healthy and
Mm,
what supports healthy. Not only, oh, okay, you need to be fine to work tomorrow. We need, of course, we need to do many things. We need to work, we need to study, we need to take care of our children and many things. But what is more important? You know, like our body is not only serving us, we also need to understand and provide good things for our body in order to live well. And live is not only about work, produce, have results. That is something that our society is telling us that we need to do.
mm.
I think we need to think about these things that, you know, as a society, what is harming us, you know, in our times. That's why uh, I think I think many people are anxious, depressive. There are a lot of emotional and mental problems nowadays because of that. Many of my patients I'm treating is is have these problems, you know, in these levels. Not is not only in the physical body. So, and the conventional medicine can't treat this properly, you know. Uh, Taken the depressants, for example, it won't help them. They they know that, or they start. They can notice that these remedies are not good for them. So they look for homeopathy because of that, you know, because of these effects.
You know, I always tell not all the patients, but certainly we always have this conversation with some patients sometimes that they come and they say, "Oh, but we haven't got time. You know, you're saying it's going to take such and such time," or you can never give an exact time in homeopathy. It's not possible because it's
Hmm.
individualized. It depends on the
Yes.
patient. But nevertheless, they ask. And I always have this conversation with some that, look, the thing is, you need to give time to your healing because you're saying to me that, oh, I'm so busy, I've got so many things to do. But if you don't give time to yourself now, you're actually going to become very sick. And when you become very sick, you're not going to have time to do anything because you're going to be sick. So, you know, you have to be very um, sensible as far as health is concerned, you know, and think about that and think about how your body is and what it's going through and what it needs. And sometimes it just needs to rest, doesn't it?
Yes.
It just needs to rest and just have chill time, you know, with the family or go to the park and be outside. And almost some may say who are very busy, oh, that's a waste of time. It's actually not because your body needs to re energize and reharmonize. I mean, the best example is the fact that we could be the most powerful individual on this planet, but there is no way that after 48 hours we can continue to function sensibly, logically, rationally. We have to sleep. So, what's that all about?
Yeah.
Isn't it? You know, we were talking offline, weren't we, about what we enjoy and pondering and reflecting. You could have the most money in the world, you could be the most powerful person on the planet, you could have everything at your disposal, but if you don't sleep for more than after 2 to 3 days, you're gone. There is no way you can operate. So it tells you the fragility of the body. We can achieve great things, of course, and we have. You know, history tells us the positive changes, I mean, that have been achieved by humankind, the progression. But it body needs rest. It's still organic, isn't it? Yeah. It's basically a clump of cells. And if you want to go really deep, it's just a vibration. But hey, that's too deep, maybe.
Yes, what you said is very important, you know, to recognize. the needs of our body, the simple things, sleepy, sleepy food,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah.
basic things that you need to respect,
Yeah.
and some base, need to take. We need to have to exercise, move your bodies. So respect the basics, I think, and homeopathy, I think, is about that,
Hmm. Yeah. Very, very
to
true.
recognize the limits of our body and give what they need.
I was going to ask you,
Yes,
so what is it? What's it like
from
for you?
Brazil.
What's it like as a country? It must be very humid and most and challenging, or it's quite humidity is quite comfortable.
There are bad and good sides in Brazil. As Brazil, we have a good people. No, they are very warm people, I think. Um, and there are many different people from all over the world. No, for example, I look like a Japanese, but I'm Brazilian.
Hmm.
I'm half Japanese and half Brazilian. But we see people with different colors and all kind of people, and if different religions have this mixture. I think this is the most beautiful thing in Brazil,
Hmm.
and we are living together here, you know. But of course, there are many different social differences here because we are a country in developing country, so we can see this difference. People not having the same opportunities here, so
Hmm.
it's something that we need to learn to develop here in Brazil. No, there's no equality, social equality yet, but I think we learn a lot with this difference from people here. No, there are, we we are like Christian country. I mean, it's not in from the state like it, but we have Christian holidays here.
Hmm.
No, but we have many different religions here. So we I think we respect a lot this difference. And the nature here is beautiful. The country is very big, as I said, and we have many different places. Like from the south to the north is very different. No, so a lot of diversity we have. So we can find everything in Brazil.
Juliana, it's so good to have had you on the Homeopathy Health Show. Um, it's really nice, I'm really happy that we've managed to get yourself on and to talk about homeopathy in Brazil, and of course your amazing journey. And um, I wish you well, and of course we will keep in touch, and hopefully we can talk some more in the near future. And perhaps we can work on a special project as far as homeopathy in Brazil is concerned. I've had a few ideas.
Yeah, nice. Yes, we can do a lot for homeopathy in Brazil.
Absolutely. Thank you
Yes.
so very much. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for the invite, for this inviting, for this opportunity. It was a great conversation for me. It's challenging talking a different language in English, but I think it's good, and we can talk in the future and have more, get talk about more in homeopathy, about Brazil here. Share more. Thank you. Take
Thank you so very much. I do hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of the Homeopathy Health Show. Please do support the show by clicking follow on my socials. Remember, the more exposure the podcast receives, the better for homeopathy around the world. You can find me on Instagram by searching for @like_treatslike. and on both Facebook and TikTok by searching for @LikeTreatsLike. So let's promote the voice of homeopathy on radio and podcast around the world together. Don't forget to visit me online at www.liketreatslike.co.uk and click on the radio and podcast tab. Here you'll be able to see all the guests that have joined me on the show so far, and of course you can stream on demand the latest episode to your mobile, tablet or PC. Until next time, stay safe and take care.